Nichole, I love you.
Love you.
Hi.
Hi.
Guys,
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good
wherever
day.
you're at. Whenever this comes out. No, we know when this is coming out. We're good about our organization. We're working on it, guys. Hi, this is Gabrielle Celeste. You're listening to the Spiritual Sisters podcast. What's up? What's going on? Tell me all the things. One day we're going to come out with merch and they're going to say all the things on the shirts and hoodies.
Try to pile on more work to our already busy schedule. Thank you, right there. Okay.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Nichole. Oh my God. Okay. What are we doing? Let's see. Good morning.
What are we talking about?
Good afternoon.
Follow us. Go
everybody.
Rate, review. Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram. Rate and review. Fun holidays for the week, guys. So we have January 25th, opposite day. We have January 26th, Fun at Work Day. I feel like that's an oxymoron because work is lame.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to go and have fun at work. Anyway, those are the fun holidays for the week. Also, reminder that we are putting on a vision board workshop that is going to be on, actually, maybe not reminder. This might be the first time we're talking about it. This is the first time we're talking about it. Okay, guys. February 11th, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be doing a 90-minute vision board workshop. So we'll be talking a little bit about our human design, a little bit about subconscious mind and how that plays a role in creating our dream life and putting that dream life onto a vision board. Cost is going to be $24. We will have a link ready. It should be ready by the time this comes out. I will get my shit together. So we'll share the link in all the places on our Instagram, on my Instagram. It'll be everywhere. On Gab's Instagram. It'll be everywhere. Okay. Oh, what else? Oh, okay. Hold on. Before we jump in to today's topic, we just did recently the episode about aliens in 2024, and I heard about this afterwards, and I don't know if it had happened maybe before. I don't know, but did you hear about the Miami mall incident? Okay. What are your quick thoughts on it? I don't want to spend too much time on it, but what are your quick thoughts on it? And I wish we would have known about it when Michelle came on.
I think aliens are real. I think that was real. I think alien discussion and alien stories being at the forefront before the Jeffrey Epstein list is released is also very interesting in terms of timelines. So, yeah, that's right in time with the Pluto and Aquarius transit. Those are my thoughts.
Can you hear my husband clearing his throat and blowing his nose? And yeah. It's a good thing I can edit that out. Sorry, Brianna. Okay. Let's see. I don't know what I think about it. I went to my news source after I heard about it, TikTok, and
tickety talk. Fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah. And I couldn't really see videos. I don't know. I'm just a little suspicious of the police presence.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know what I think about it. I mean, I definitely have said before that I think aliens are real. I just don't know what I think about that specific incident because I think I don't know enough about it. But I thought it was interesting timing since we had just spoke with Michelle about it recently. Anyway, let us know your thoughts, guys. What do you think that what do you think the Miami mall incident was? Do you think it was aliens? Do you think it was just a bunch of kids fighting like they said it was? I just think the police presence for that was a bit much. However, I did hear that there were maybe fireworks and things like that, so I could understand if maybe they thought that it was some type of like active shooter type of situation, that would warrant the presence of police that did show up.
Mhm.
So you know me, I'm kind of always on the fence, but
Yeah.
anyway, let us know.
Mm.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
Ooh, we're talking about rituals. I'm super excited about this one. And you know why I'm excited about it? Because, well, one, I enjoy them. But two, when we were planning for this episode, we are like, oh, yeah, we're not going to have that much. And then we start talking, and it's like, oh, no, it's
Yeah,
never the case.
never the case. But I got shit to do, so we gotta,
Make it quick.
yeah, we gotta make it quick. Okay,
Okay.
rituals. What are rituals? Why do we do them? What do we do?
I think they're more simple and practical than people might think them to be. And I feel like that really came out as we were
Hmm.
like building the structure for this episode. But for me, looks very part is very much a part of my routine. So morning routines, evening routines are some of my rituals.
Yeah, and I wonder too if maybe those words kind of can go hand in hand, if they can be interchangeable. So, like rituals versus morning routines, or is it that you have the rituals built into a
Mm,
morning routine or an evening routine, right? Because a routine can be just all the things that you do, but maybe the rituals are the smaller things that
yeah.
you do within the routine, right?
Yeah, totally. I think both land for sure and apply. Well, for like me, I'll just explain like what I do. Like my morning routine is very important, and I think it's almost ooh, if I had to choose, like if it's more important as opposed to like my evening routine, it probably would be only because it really sets the tone for my day. So like when I wake up, and this is what I consider a ritual. First thing I do is I call my energy back mentally from other dimensions I've been to in my dream state. You know, just you never know where you're astral traveling. If you can control it, which I don't know how to control my astral traveling. It's a very unconscious thing. But then I'll wake up and then I'll go pee and then I'll come back and I'll stretch and then I'll sit down on my yoga block and I'll ground my energy. And as I'm grounding my energy, I take 10 deep breaths, inhale and exhale. And then I pull a card and I do this every day. And then,
Hold on, I have questions.
mhm, I expect nothing less.
You ground your energy every morning.
Yeah, it's
Why are you
hard.
still all over the place?
I think my energy is very fast. I think that's why. I think it's very fast thinking. Yeah, I have
I
to
would
look at my
call it
chart.
chaotic.
I was born on an eclipse, so I'm not surprised.
Oh, fuck,
Eclipses are
yeah.
chaotic. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Uh-huh.
Interesting, because I would think, wow, I don't ground my energy in the morning, and I feel like I'm more.
But we were talking about this. Your mornings are and so I will say, disclaimer, my morning routine changes dependent on how early I'm waking up, and you wake up hella early. Like I
Mhm.
can't I'm trying to get on your level because I used to be on that level, but now I'm just like it just I need a slower morning to start the day as of late. So, what about you? What do you do?
Wait, okay, so you get on the yoga block, you ground your energy, you take 10 deep breaths, and then what? And
Uh-huh.
then you start your
Then
you do
I'm
your
in a
card
meditative
pull,
state. Uh-huh. I pull my card for myself for the day.
and then
And then I get up and then I go and I drink as much water as I can. And then I'll take my herbs and my aloe vera to coat my stomach.
mm,
And as of right now, I've been eating first thing and then straight, like heading to the gym straight after just to like play with my glucose levels to see what's going on. And then I'll come back and I'll rinse off and I'll start my work day. But I
mm.
need like a solid, like honestly, like to have a prime day, I need like 2 hours before I start working.
That was gonna be my next question is how much time does that take you? Because here's the
Hmm.
thing, I think sometimes it's really difficult to have, like, a good routine because we don't have not everybody has 2 hours in the morning
Yeah, it's true.
to do whatever they need to do before they go to work or go to school, wherever it is that they're going to,
Hmm.
and that's a hard part. I remember oh gosh, they were talking about it on YouTube. Let me ask them. Babe, what did they used to call those girls on YouTube? Like the girls that would like wake up and do their journaling and the that girl.
That girl.
That girl.
What is a that girl?
They would journal, do yoga, Set their expectations for the day. Meditate. Be grateful.
Yeah.
So there have been, I think, an increase in that girl or in
That girls,
that girl,
those
that
girls,
girls, those
and
girls,
those girls.
and those girls, plural,
Uh,
that girl, singular. Okay.
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So you see that girl doing all these things on YouTube, right?
Mhm.
Or Instagram or wherever, TikTok, tickety talk. And it's like unrealistic. Well, I can't do all of that in the morning, right? I have to go to
It's true. Yeah.
work, I have to go to school, whatever, right? Wherever you have to go. So then it's like, okay, well, how much of that can I fit into my morning? And you can't fit that much
Mm-mm.
unless you
No,
have 2 hours.
unless you're waking up at 4 in the morning.
Unless you're okay. So I wake up at 4:20 ish because I
Yeah.
have to try to be out the door by 4:40 to be at the gym by 5. So
Mhm.
when I wake up, before I get out of bed, I think of 5 things that I'm grateful for.
Mhm.
And lately they've been kind of the same because it's been so cold, well, cold for us.
Yes.
And so I think of those things that I'm grateful for. Okay, I'm grateful to have a warm bed. I'm grateful for like a warm home. I'm grateful to have my family with me. I'm grateful to wake up. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to get up and go to the gym, right? Because sometimes I don't want to, but I know that that's a privilege for me because there were months that I couldn't go to the gym and I was so angry and miserable. I did love sleeping in, but I was so upset that I didn't have that part of my routine. So then
Mhm.
that's what I do first thing in the morning. And then just all the other things, right? Like brush your teeth, whatever, get ready, head
Yeah.
to the gym. On my way to the gym, I do listen to affirmations in the car and I repeat them. So I do that for about 10 minutes on my way to the gym. And then I have my workout. On my way home, I listen to an audiobook, and that's the way that I can take in information for the day. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast, but I try to really keep the drive home for the audiobook because I want to get in that that type of information in the morning.
Mhm.
And then after that, it's just go, go, go.
Yeah.
So I wish I could journal in the morning and have a slow morning and do all those things, but I don't. And if I'm not getting up and going to the gym, I'm not going to wake up at 4:30. I'm not even going to wake up at 5 a.m. to journal and yoga and make a smoothie and all the things that the that girls do or the those girls, right? I don't have time.
Us girls.
Us girl, I don't have time to do all of that. So that's kind of like what I try to fit in the morning. I wish I had time to meditate, pull a card, ground my
Mhm.
energy. I don't do any of that. I don't have time for that. Like my mornings are just chaotic, like your energy.
Yes. Well, okay, 2 things. How different are your days when you don't get up and go to the gym and move your energy?
I'm
And
so behind.
don't you feel just like you're just so off?
Mhm. I'm like,
It's
"Oh
the
my
worst.
gosh, I haven't done my gratitude for the day. Oh my gosh, I haven't done my affirmations. Oh my gosh, I haven't listened to my audiobook." Right? There's so many
Mhm.
things that I
Mhm.
do just kind of like automatically that I don't do on the days that I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to sleep in and not go to the gym today. I'm going to wash my hair instead."
And we get off on being productive, so I feel
That's a
like
problem.
that it really is. But when we're not getting those things done, first thing, 1, they're probably not gonna get done just with the kind of schedules that we have, and 2, the days definitely feel different, and 3, I'm gonna start at least I've been telling myself I'm gonna try to start going to the gym at 4:30 like you, at least on the same day so I can have an accountability buddy,
Mhm.
because it does make such a difference, like, you really do have different days, and I was talking to dad, and dad was like, I when he was, in his business, before he retired, he would say, I would get up at 4 in the morning and I'd be ready to go after the gym and had my breakfast and all the things by 7 AM, and he's like, "It was my favorite time of day," and I relate to that because
Yeah.
it's just really serene.
Mhm. Yeah, because I was even doing that when I wasn't working. I was still
Mhm.
trying to wake up early just to get in the habit of it. And then I'd come home and I'd eat breakfast at, 6:30 or whatever,
Yeah.
and then I would go back to sleep sometimes for
Mhm.
for a little bit
Mhm.
because I didn't
Mhm.
have to get my son up for school. And then by the time everybody gets up, it's like, man, I've had a full day, right? I've already exercised, I've already
Yeah,
done all of those things. But so
and
that's
that's
what the
why
mornings look like.
that's why we're also, like, dead to the world by 10 a.m. because you're 6
Right.
hours in by that point.
Yeah, so my husband always says, he's like, well, you've had like a full day already, right? It's like 10 a.m.
Seriously.
You're tired, but you've been up for hours, you know?
So, what does your evening routine look like on the flip side?
I actually really love my evening routine. I don't know if it's
Oh.
just because I look forward to going to bed because I
Mm.
love sleep and then I've been up, by that time for so long.
Mhm.
But my evening routine consists of journaling, and I have two journals that I use. One
Mhm.
is a gratitude journal. So it's just focusing on like an affirmation for the day, things that I'm grateful for. Did I take time for self care? Things that I'm calling in. So it's a really quick one. It doesn't take very long. And then I have another journal that's a more kind of thought provoking, and there's a different question every day. So I'll answer whatever the question is in that journal. That usually takes me a little bit longer.
Mhm.
And then what else do I do? I have an audio that I listen to, and the audio has a cord cutting exercise. So I'll cut my cords in the evening. And then, sorry, before I start my audio, I kind of do like energetic protection for the evening.
Yeah.
So bubbling up myself, my husband, my son, our home, other family
Mhm.
members' homes,
Mhm.
and calling in archangels. So, and then also just kind of declaring the type of sleep I want to have and what I want my travels to be like and who I'm willing to be visited by and not visited by.
Mm. Mhm.
So that's like on a good day, I'm doing all of those things. And then jumping into cord cutting, maybe a bedtime hypnosis. And then I listen to subliminals in the evening also. And one of the things that's been on my to do list this weekend that I didn't get to, and I'm hoping to get to, if not this week, then this next coming weekend, is making my own subliminals because they say that your subconscious mind is going to respond better to your voice and to the words that you're telling it versus subliminals from someone else because your mind is like, well, like, like you're me, you're not going to lie to me versus if I have some stranger giving me subliminals and telling me, you know, the same things I want to tell myself, but I'm like, well, I don't know you. Like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to make my own subliminals. And then I was even thinking of making some for my son. And
Mm.
right, because they also say children respond to the authority figures in their life. So I was like, okay, well, let me make him a subliminal with my voice with all
Mhm.
of the affirmations for him because he's so cute. He listens to a bedtime story and then he puts
Mhm.
on his own kind of like nighttime meditation and that's what he falls asleep to.
I love
And then
that.
at night I go and I turn it off. But I was almost thinking, well, maybe I should just, instead of turning it off completely, putting on some kind of subliminal for him to listen to while he sleeps. So let's see. So that's kind of the nighttime routine. And then, yeah,
Nichole, that's a 40-minute plus ritual. Like, that's, like, takes 40 minutes before you actually get to bed, right? At least?
no, I can do all of
Really?
that.
Okay.
No, because the cord cutting is like 5 minutes. And then once the bedtime
Mhm.
hypnosis starts, it kind of like puts me to sleep. And then when the subliminals are going, I don't need to be conscious for that. That's just my subconscious mind working. So I'm asleep. I'm asleep. I don't hear any of that.
Mm.
And
Okay.
yeah, so I would say the whole routine maybe takes from like journaling and getting the audios ready, 15 minutes, 20 minutes
Mm.
at the most. Because a lot of that I'm already doing in bed, right? I'm doing the
Yeah.
energetic protections in bed. Yeah, everything's in bed. The only thing I'm not doing in bed is journaling, but I journal on my bed. So, like, I
Yeah.
pull out the books
Okay.
and I'm laying there. So, yeah, it doesn't
Got
take
it.
very long. And that's why I think I look forward to it.
Yeah. Okay,
So, that's
cool. I
kind
love
of the
that.
evening. Yeah, I really look forward to my evening routine. It's like a nice way to kind of close out the day.
Yeah. Huh.
Sometimes
Very
I'll put
interesting.
on, sometimes I'll put essential oils in the diffuser if I'm really going for it that evening, but I don't always do that.
I love I didn't know this until we were prepping for this episode, but I love how you speak to what you're grateful for,
Mm.
at least 5 things.
Mhm.
I used to do that, like, 5 that was part of my evening routine 5
Well, I
years
do
ago.
5 things in the morning and 5 things in the evening.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
I love that. Okay. My evening routine is similar to your cord cutting. So I like basically because usually I've had read a lot of energy by that point, depending if like especially on days that I'm reading, but in general, I just
Mhm.
try to keep this a good habit. I have a selenite sword. I sleep right next to my altar, which you're not supposed to do for our spiritual girlies out there.
Mm.
But I do have my crystals on there, and so I will literally take my crystal, my selenite wand that's shaped like a sword, and I'll swing it around me, and I'll cut all the cords. And then I will call in, well, ground my energy again. I'll do another card pull. Um,
Oh.
mhm. And then I call in Archangel Michael, and I ask him to protect me in my dreams, and then I bubble up all of our houses, so sisters, families, uncles, everyone in San Diego.
Mhm.
And then I actually imagine all of the homes aside from a bubble, but like in surrounded by rings of salt, because rings of salt are actually quite protective.
Mhm.
And then I say my prayer, and then I blow out my candle right before I go to bed. That's also on my altar. But 2 hours before bed, I will say I take magnesium. I take 2 magnesium pills 2 hours before I go to bed.
Oh, that's something else
Uh-huh.
we do.
Well,
Well,
I
not
do. You
magnesium
can't,
because it
because Nichole gets anxious.
gave me a little panic attack. But yeah, I make
Um,
a tea. I make a tea, that me and my husband drink, and then we have our nighttime vitamins and stuff, so
uh-huh.
I'll make the tea, but I've been making it early. I've been making it when I get home from work because I do go to bed so early. So that way it's kinda cooled down a little bit, but yeah, we drink our tea at night,
Oh,
take our vitamins. Because she
I
told
will
us
say
to
that.
drink it, like, an hour before bedtime. So that means
Mhm.
I need to start drinking it at, like, 7 o'clock. So
So our herbalist, you mean?
Mhm.
Okay, got it. Well, I do you find that you're doing rituals/energy work throughout the day? Because I do that with, like, my food and, like, when I'm protecting myself from other people's energy in public and all the
I
things.
don't. I've always been really bad about that, and I was trying to get better about it, and especially bubbling up my energy anytime I was going into session, and I'm really
Yeah.
bad about doing that, and I know you were talking a little bit about a lot of the rituals that you do with your food, and I don't do any food rituals. So
Mhm.
I think for me, it took me a while to get to the point of, okay, this is what I do for the morning, this is what I do for the evening. And now that it's just more of the routine, I think because I had to put an effort into that, right? I had to be very conscious of this is what I want to do and
Mhm.
making the effort to do it. So now I think I need to shift that focus to
Yeah.
daytime things that are not part of a routine, I guess.
Well, like something so for speaking to the food example and then being out in public, because those 2 things came to mind as you were talking. So, especially when I go out to eat, which I really try to limit, like, how often I eat out, unless it's like, at Tender Greens or something that's like a healthier option, or even like going to like a Whole Foods grocery store or something like
Hmm.
that. It's just because other people are around your food and are making your food. So I bless the food, I thank it. If it's an animal, I thank it for its life, or like it providing it, giving up its life so it can nourish me. Sometimes I'll Reiki it, if I feel like it really needs that. But another thing I do when I'm out in public is, especially if like I'm with just anyone, like dad or you or whoever, I'll like protect myself. Like I'll bubble each other. I'll bubble myself. I'll bubble you guys if we're out and
Hmm.
about, like especially like places like Costco
Oh,
or
where
just
we're
with
going
large
in a little
crowds.
bit.
It's just yeah, it's a lot. So and it's really funny because being, like, spiritually awake, I don't know if you're ever just, like, walking down the aisles of a store or, like, a warehouse, and you're just, like, looking around, and you often wonder, you're just like, "Are these people just kinda, like, walking asleep, or are they awake?" Like, these are thoughts that go through my mind when I'm out in public.
No, I just go in and do what I need to do.
Okay.
Okay, so food stuff, what do you do?
Pomegranates? I've been
Mhm.
eating our herbalist said I needed some bitters, like pineapple, grapefruit,
Yeah.
and pomegranate.
Mhm.
And, the way in which you peel a pomegranate is very spiritual. So you starfish it at the top, and you're supposed to go very slow and thank it for its nourishment. So, stuff like that. I'll literally just, like, Reiki my food before I eat it, or before it even comes to the table, like, I'll mentally do it because obviously I don't wanna be seen as, like, a weirdo from other people around in public if we're sitting at, like, a table, you know? Um,
I feel like
something
you
else
do
too,
enough things.
and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's fine." People people already see that. It's all
Do you
good.
really care? I don't
Do
know.
I care? Something
Mm.
else too when we go out to eat or, I don't really tip like at coffee places just because unless I'm using the establishment. If like I'm sitting there, then I will tip. Um, I carry money that it's placed on my altar. So I'll put like singles, dollar bills, y'all. Go into the
Mm.
club on my altar and I'll switch it out and I will tip with that money and I'll ask my money to bless people that it's finding and also double in return to me. So if I'm spending $1, I'm asking for $2 more or $2 to come back in some way. So for me, like that's how I work with that's my money ritual. So I just do things like that when I just try to be as intentional as possible throughout the day. But I do recognize that it is a lot of energy that's being expelled from me, being so conscious in thought. So sometimes when I'm just like, I just need to be like a human who's not awake to this outside world or this world, I just do what I need to do and get the fuck out, just like you said.
Yeah. I was listening to, I don't remember, it might have been a podcast episode, but on Manifestation Babe, and she was talking about before she, became Manifestation Babe, how she would spend a lot of time, um, not a lot of time. She would set aside money to give away to people. And so, like 10%, right? Which I think, like,
Yes.
if you go to church, that's the tithing amount anyway. So she would set aside 10% of her income and she would just put it in random places. So she would go to Target and put, $20 in a book with a note, or she would put extra money in the parking meters. So that way she was like, even if I knew I only needed 5 minutes, I would maybe do 2 hours worth of parking. And then that way, whoever would come in after me could also take advantage of, my it was like just gift, right? She was kind of like gifting money to people. And I really liked that idea of,
Hmm.
just like blessing someone with, $5 or buying someone's coffee. And I've done that before. I've bought in people's coffees. I bought in people's like breakfast. During the pandemic when there was a lot of shutdowns, I was
Hmm.
sending money to small businesses that I
Hmm.
would
Hmm.
use, like, nail places or hair people, gyms, and I would send them like payment because,
Hmm.
especially people that were giving away workouts for free. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, thank you for giving this to us for free. So here's some money. And so just as a way to be like, thank you. Like I have a little bit extra to give. So I'm gonna give where I can.
Hmm.
But I love the idea of like kind of blessing, like, well, I guess it's not blessing the money, but just the altar work
Yeah.
for the money. Because they
Yeah.
even
I
have
actually, I,
oils that are good for money, like
mhm.
money draw, money blessing type of things.
I feel like that's actually something like I really appreciate that you do, and I feel like you're really good about that, and mom's really good about that too.
Mhm.
So I remember she was helping some immigrant workers that were trying to just make their way to Oregon,
Mhm.
and it was around just a really like tense time with what's going on in the world as it's been in the last couple of years. But this I think was last year, and they were standing outside the Dollar Tree. And it was really funny because one of her relatives, I mean, it's on her side, I'm not really that close to them, but and this is not to talk shit, but she had asked for some cash, and there was no reason for her to be asking for cash given her
Mhm.
resources. So we thought that was kind of funny,
Mhm.
or I thought it was kind of funny, but it was the same amount that she ended up gifting to these two immigrants who were, trying to make their way to the Pacific Northwest so that they could find work.
Mhm.
And I shit you not, so it was like $300. I'll just say that, right? So she paid for their bus fare just so they could travel through the state of California. And then later on, I think mom ends up winning or getting some kind of refund or something for like $1,000. So
Yeah.
tell me that shit don't work.
No, it does. And it's
Mhm.
not done to get it back, right? Like I don't give money away with
Mhm.
the thought
No.
of giving it back, you know?
Mhm.
I just did it because like everybody was going through a hard time and we weren't spending money doing anything, but I was still benefiting from whatever, or just trying to keep some of my favorite small businesses afloat in some
Yeah.
way. It's like, well, I can't
Yeah.
come to see you, but how can I support you during this time anyway? You know, I wasn't expecting to get anything
For
from
sure.
anybody.
Yeah. I don't think mom
Yeah,
did it either, but we just wanna make that
no,
point. Yeah.
yeah. Right, and that's the thing, right? Is it's just doing it to do it because you can or because you want to without the expectation of, okay, well now I'm going to get this back or someone's going to do for me. No, but I love the
I
idea of doing that, like the stuff that you do.
So it's so interesting too. And then I feed the altar. I want to add that other little note and disclaimer.
Mm,
So I'll put stuff on there for my ancestors to work, our ancestors to help us. So I'll give them apples with cinnamon. I'll put herbs and teas if it's like a holiday, they get rice beans and tacos. And then it just sits there for a day. And it's the craziest thing because I can see the energy just playing around, and I'll have dad come in and I'll be like, "Dad, what do you see?" Right? Just to test out the third eye because this is way more open than mine is. But it's really cool to just have that altar as kind of like your backup in a way, even though it's not really a backup, it's just there to really support you in your relationship with whatever power you believe in.
I don't give them food. I was putting water on my altar for a little bit and then I think I did salt for a little bit, but one thing that I am really good about is flowers.
Yeah, same.
So I always put a and I've mostly been doing roses specifically, but I'll usually put a rose on there and have a little, not
Mhm.
chat, but just, you know, accept this gift. Thank you for being around or, you know, whatever. It changes, but I like to give a little flower up there.
Yeah, I love that you usually do white or red roses.
Mhm.
So what about when you're meditating? Do you set intentions for meditation? Because I feel like that's something I could be better about.
I don't. And when you were at my house yesterday, I think my guides were ratting on me a little bit
Mhm.
about my meditation.
You guys, I was sitting literally where she's recording right now, and I was like, "What is this?" It was only because I was in her energy, right? And then I was like, "I don't think she's meditating." But then I kept getting your spirit baby's energy too. And then when
Mm,
I left, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm still connected to her energy." I was like, "Oh my god, they're still giving me information." I was like, "This is no, yes, but no, guys, I'm
get it out.
driving." So I hit you up and it was
Where's my
done, but I'm
sword?
just like literally last night I was like, "Sword, nope." But I mean, you're my sister. I don't have any issues
Yeah.
with your energy, obviously. It's
Yeah,
like
you
free
know,
access.
I don't do any meditation intentions really. I'm really bad at that. However, one ritual that I do is anytime I am going to meditate, I will light incense just
Mhm.
to kind of set the mood, set the tone. So I like to have incense going, or anytime we're going to record, I usually light an incense
Yeah.
just to have that kind of going. We use candles a lot, right? So we use candles when we're
Yeah.
recording. And I was really good before about coming home and lighting the candles, and I haven't been. And you mentioned earlier that you blow out your candle in the evening. So tell us a little bit. Can we circle back to what you do with the
Yeah.
candles on a daily basis? Because I have like a Dollar Tree aisle under my bathroom sink full of candles that I need to get better about lighting. So, yeah, that needs to
Yeah.
be the focus.
Well,
So, what do
okay.
you do?
Let me add let me add the caveat. So I'll wake up, I'll go pee, I'll brush my teeth, I'll come back, I'll ground. But as soon as I somewhere in between there, the first thing I do is I light my candle on my altar because I meditate next to my altar. So I just keep that on throughout the day for however long I'm at home. If I leave, I obviously turn the candle off because fire hazard. And we live in earthquake land. But I will come back and turn it back on just so it's always, like, going throughout the day, and then, just before I go to bed, like, when I say my prayer, I usually turn it off then. And that's when I'm doing my prayers. I'm calling in Archangel Michael and asking for that protection. And it goes out when I go to bed because I'm very sensitive to light, to sound as I go to bed. So,
Okay, so
but if I am in session,
mhm.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, if I'm in session, I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm turning the candle on and I'm asking to set the intention for the sitter. And then I close out the candle at the end because I don't want to connect to their energy after that.
Mhm. Okay, so when you light your
And I
candle in the
use different
morning,
colors too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you light your candle in the morning, what intention are you putting into it? Are you just lighting it, or are you putting an
I'm asking to
intention?
have a good day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm asking to have a good day, asking for protection, asking for health. If I'm asking for like another client to bring in that type of income to my business, I'll ask for that. And you know what? That does work. Every time I ask for a new client, I get one. So
Mm,
that's really interesting. I just realized that.
okay.
So I'm just kind of asking the fire magic to do work and the ancestors to do the work for me.
Okay, and then if you leave, you put it out, and then when you come home, do
Yeah,
you set a
I turn it
new
back on.
intention, or do you just light it back up?
No, I just light it back up.
Mm, so I think
Maybe I
that's
should.
where I was.
Any brujas tell me?
Yeah, because I think that's where I was maybe like keeping myself from relighting it because I was like, oh, I have to set a new intention every time I light it versus just lighting it because I
Well,
wanted the
maybe
ambiance or, you know.
right. Well, that just is what, like, works for me,
Mhm.
and I feel like, this was actually something we need to get Yvette on, she's a curandera. She knows all of this and then some.
Mhm.
She yeah, there's just a lot of, like, work that you can do with candle magic specifically
Mhm.
because, she actually gave us that for Christmas, and she had programmed the candles to do very specific things for us, so, like, for psychic
Mhm.
attack, for bringing in the new year,
Yep.
so that's really cool, so maybe we can have her on for that.
Yeah, because even with that, there's different candle colors that we use for different things. Like because you mentioned the different colors, so we use
And
blue.
chakras.
Yeah, we use blue for when we're lighting for the podcast, and then
Mhm.
I know my go-tos before were white and purple. Those were the 2 that I had the most of. And then I have,
Mhm.
yellow, red, green. I think I have pink somewhere. I don't know. There's a lot of colors that I have, but they all mean something different. So you can
Yeah.
have your own ritual with your candles also.
Dad actually told me about that before. I was like, "How do you like, what? Like, who knew?" Right?
Dad's a
He was like
witch.
white all around. He really is. Like, he doesn't tell us as much as he puts out. Like, he
Mm-mm.
definitely holds himself back in terms of what he's sharing with us and what he sees, but he's like, "Yeah, white all around, and for
Mhm.
money, light green."
Mhm.
And those are pretty much 2 of the colors that you're always gonna see here. He does have, like, other ones, like purple for the third eye and typically
Mhm.
whatever you're finding at, like, the Dollar Tree.
Mhm.
But we love them. We
Also,
love it.
guys, one thing, and I think Gabby mentioned this before, but one thing that I wasn't doing that I do now is cutting the tip of the wick.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. We got that from Yvette.
Yes.
She had mentioned because the energy of whoever's making the candle is within the candle, so you wanna
Mhm.
use the same scissor to cut off the tip of the wick before you set an intention and light the candle for yourself for the first time.
Yeah.
There's actually another thing too for with death, if you experience this, my condolences to you for sure and your family. When you put this on the altar, when someone passes, you light a candle for them so their way can be lit as they transition to the other side. And I also got that from you, Beth.
Mm. Okay. Okay, so let's move on real quick to rituals that can be done during a new moon or a full moon. So let's start with the full moon because I think there was less that we had
Yeah.
identified for a full moon. So one of the things that I do when there's a full moon, and when I was mentioning that journal that I do, the gratitude journal, one of the things that it has in there to track is the moon cycle, the moon phase. So
Hmm.
I was really good about it for a while and then I kind of stopped. But that would help me know, oh, okay, tomorrow's a full moon. I got to grab my decks and throw them outside so that I can charge my decks and my crystals under the light of the full moon. So that's one of the things that I do, that I try to do when there's a full moon.
Yeah.
What about you?
One of our podcasts will actually have a reading with her today, time of recording. She's someone told me, but I think it was probably Brianna, but apparently she puts her crystals in her bra now because of you.
Safest place for them. Apparently, we've been messing up. We need to put them in our socks and start swinging.
Oh my goodness. For full moon rituals, I know we had talked about spiritual baths, which I haven't done,
Mm-mm.
because
I have
well,
once.
with rose petals.
No, I put my crystals in the water. I had my candles going. I was listening to a sound bath on YouTube. It was very
Tell me you're a
relaxing.
Cancer without telling me you're a Cancer.
Oh, and then I think I had Epsom salt in there too with some
I love it.
essential oils. It was very nice.
Well, full moons are a really good time to release and let go and to shed from the previous cycle and anything that's happened in the last month. I will say that's typically when I'm getting my period. So I'm out, I'm down, like I'm not doing much for the full moons, but I will
Mm-hmm.
also say depending on how much energy I've read that month and how my protections and my protocols and rituals, how good I've been with those, my period's actually more painful depending on how much energy work I do. And I noticed that at the
Mm.
beginning of my journey, but I'm typically doing more ritual work for new moons than I am full moons.
Okay, so quick rundown of the new moons before we're done. So, new moon
Yes.
rituals, we had talked about that a little bit, where you can do meditation with certain crystals. I know sometimes some of the girlies that we follow they'll do like maybe a breath work session with a new moon. Is it a new moon or a full moon? It might be both. I think I've maybe participated in one of each, but they'll do some type of ritual that way, like a journaling and um, again, and like a breath work. So that's one thing that people can do. And then you had mentioned that depending on the season that we're going into,
Mhm.
you can call in the energy for that season.
Yeah.
So let's start with Capricorn. And I think you said with Capricorn, that has something to do with time. Is that right?
Yeah. So Capricorn season, Capricorn represents boss energy, leadership, the patriarchy, all the things. So something I'm doing for that is calling in finding more time for myself and my business within my schedule. So I'm setting the intention to be in flow and work with time magic so it's to my advantage and I'm not feeling stressed out. Should I just go through the list? Yeah. Okay. So the next one is Aquarius, and Aquarius rules over themes of the collective, groups of people, the space. So typically around Aquarius, because it's right after the holidays, you're kind of like over the new year, new me bullshit. um, Working with new groups of people, kind of setting the intention for what I really want that Gregorian calendar year to look like is something I'm doing. And then Pisces season. That is the last sign of the zodiac. So again, it's kind of like that right before the rebirth for the equinox and whatnot. So I will just kind of, that's actually when I really start my year because that is the start of the zodiac new year, the astro new year. So that's really when I'm like setting the foundations of what I want the rest of the year to look like because the first 2 months of the year for me anyway are just, and these are just some examples, but it's just foundation setting. There is a disclaimer for equinoxes and for the solstices. I probably would be going a little bit harder just because they're transitional and liminal seasons and periods of time. And I mean, summer solstice. I mean, we'll get there. But, anyways, for Aries season, rebirth, new energy, fresh start. So, that is what I'm calling in for that new moon. Taurus rules over food, resources, land. So, something you can do with that new moon is calling in more money.
Mm.
Or what you're trying to, especially right before summer comes up and everyone's typically really busy in the summer and out and about. See something that you could do for that. Something you can do for Gemini new moon. So Gemini rules over communication, the mind, thinking. I could see us doing like a ritual around that point, just calling in different guests with bigger followings, who have names in the industry, or just to be got podcast guests for us. Cancer's pretty straightforward because that's our birthday. That's also the summer solstice, so we're doing a whole birthday ritual. We're
We
filming
did that this
reels.
last year.
Yeah, we did. We're filming reels on the beach with Brianna.
Mm-hmm.
You know, calling it sitting. Oh, that's the thing too. For your birthday, the energy that's going on in the sky at that time of your birthday is going to follow you until your next birthday. So that casts your what's called a solar return chart. Hit me up if you're interested. Leo season, I just want to be like half naked, so I'm calling in fun for that new moon because it's right in the middle of summer, hot girl summer. Virgo season's kind of like right before you feel it's like the dog days of summer, so you're feeling like the fall come on and that transition happen. So it's kind of like prepping yourself towards the end of the year. At least for Virgo season, that's like right when I'm like, oh god,
I have a card
ooh,
that was like sticking out right now. That's funny.
isn't it? Just pull the
Summer.
summer card.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Virgo season's just kind of like right before that transition that takes out all of me personally, like my energy in the last 3 months of the year. It's like it's non-existent. Libra season, I don't really do much for Libra season, but it does represent partnership. So if you're trying to
So
have
maybe you should.
maybe I should a boo
That's where you've been
thing
fucking up.
for cupping season. Libra season's it. Scorpio season's a shit. We love Scorpios. It's right as Halloween's about to hit, so it's when you can see us doing some witchy stuff. And then Sag season, I don't know. How would you describe Sag? What would you do for Sag, like Brianna? It's
Hide?
just
I don't know. Because they're scary.
Sag just kind of like to run their mouths, but they're hilarious. Like they give no fucks. So what would a Sag new moon be? You know what? It does kind of break up like the heaviness of Scorpio right before you go into the seriousness of Capricorn.
Mm.
So it's kind of like having. I mean, it's right after. Well, it's right in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
Yeah.
that one's kind of a free fall.
I just had an idea for something, and I'll tell you when we're done recording.
Okay. Well, that's what I got for you. Those are the quick hitters in like what 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that people can do, or those are
For new
the
moon.
intentions that people can focus on for those new moons.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't even talk about the portals, but people can do rituals for portals also, right? So,
Uh-huh.
and I think we had spoken about that last year when we did Lionsgate portal, and then I don't think we
Mm-hmm.
did any others, but you were saying that not all of them are really significant. So
Mm-hmm.
that was why we weren't going to focus on doing a portal every month, but people have rituals around the portals also where they can call in different things based on.
Yeah. Well, like the Capricorn new moon this year was on 111, January
Mhm.
11th. So I
Mhm.
thought that was really fun. I was like, that's not a coincidence.
Mm,
So maybe we'll keep our eyes out for that this year.
yeah. Okay. So, guys, share with us your rituals. Share with us if there's anything that you think you might want to try to incorporate into your daily routine. If you heard anything that you liked on here as far as some ideas, hit us up if you want any information about like specifics. If you like want to know a specific card deck that Gabby uses, or specific the journals that we shared. Let us know if you have any questions about those. We love to be of service. So, is that it? Is that all we got for journals right now? Or for journals?
Aside,
For rituals?
yeah,
Okay, because I gotta
the
go
link
shopping.
for she's got to go to Costco.
I gotta go to Costco.
The link to the cards and the journals that Nichole uses, as well as the card pool for this episode and previous episodes, will be in the show notes. And
Oh, okay.
Nichole, would you like to pull a card for the audience?
Okay. So the deck I'm using today is Kyle Gray, Angels and Ancestors. I love how that summer card was poking out as you
I know.
talked about summer. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's see.
Feel like a download.
Let's see.
I got the chills as we just grounded ourselves for a hot second.
Oh, is that good or bad?
I think it's good.
Chills are always good for me.
It's good.
Oh, I got the Shield Maiden. Make plans and focus.
That is on
So,
point with ritual work.
yeah, make your plans, guys, for your rituals. Focus on what they're going to be. And that's it. That's it. I don't know. Oh, I like that one. Okay.
Mhm.
That's all we got. Nice and
Okay.
easy.
Yep.
Nice and short.
Relatively.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Okay. Until
Okay,
next time,
guys.
guys.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.